Hi everyone, welcome to KRYPTALK, that Irish guy that talks about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin broke out today. We're going to take a look to see if this is just another weekend Bitcoin breakout, or is this the start of more upside? Let's get started. This is episode number 47, and the title of this episode is Bitcoin Weekend Breakout. So if this is your first time watching this channel, or if you're a returning viewer who hasn't subscribed yet, go ahead and like and subscribe because we're on 325 subscribers and we're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. Quick look at the charts. Okay, let's get the basics out of the way. This is a cracking chart. These are daily candles and Bitcoin is trading at $48,145. So we've broken out of this downward trending resistance line, so I can go ahead and get rid of that. We're clearly back above the EMA ribbon, this collection here of moving averages, this yellow, orange and red lines. When we're above this, we tend to be bullish and price increasing. When we're below, we tend to be bearish and the price decreasing. So we're back above that, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. We're also going to take a look at how we're back above this red line and this green line. So these are the 50 and the 200 daily moving averages. We're back above that, so I'll be looking to see if we stay above this 200 daily moving average. That's massive. Going to go ahead and get rid of these as well. Now what I want to do is just zoom out here and speak about this bullish pennant that I was speaking about in episode number 46. If you haven't watched that, I highly recommend you do watch that. And that's what I'm looking at the moment, because none of this matters if we can't get above that target there, which is directly above us, which is $51,000. Now, let's take a quick look. We've gone up here. We've set a what's called a high point. That's our all-time high of 64,900. Then we had another high point. We went down, came back up again, had another peak. Imagine this is a mountain. You have a peak, you have a peak, you have a peak. So this is the highest peak. This is a lower peak. So it's still a high point, but it's a lower high. This point here then a few weeks ago there. Which one was it? When was it? The 7th of September, about 3 weeks ago, right? This was another peak or a high point, but it was a lower high. High point, lower high, lower high. If we come up and hit here, it's still just a lower high. Okay, we need to break up through this, right? So if you look at what we've achieved so far, we're still in a downtrend really. But so we've gone down from here, we've hit this support line here, we've gone back up, we've hit this resistance, we've been rejected, we've bounced off the this perforated line here. It's a previous all-time high of around $42,000, and we're on our way back up again. Now, we may bounce off this and drop down again, okay? Or we could go straight up. Nobody knows. What I'm saying is that if we get to here and go back down again, then it is kind of worrying because we just put in another lower high. But if we get up through this, then we're in business. Just going to take a few seconds to talk about my dollar cost averaging project. So every single episode, I commit to buying €10 worth of Bitcoin and then building up, seeing if it's in profit or in loss. So I've been doing this for 34 episodes. That's a total of €340 invested into Bitcoin. That current value as of today stands at €685.70. So invested 340. It's now worth, the Bitcoin is now worth €685.70. The Bitcoin that I bought with that €340. Total profit €345.70, which is 101.68% profit. So there you go, double my money. I've only started doing this about in the last year. Again, this is my portfolio. This is just something I do to show people how to dollar cost average and the advantages of it. Just to put into perspective as well, if I was to have done this with €100 every episode, that would be €3,400 invested. The current value would be 6,857. You can ignore this thing on the left, and then that'll be a total profit of €3,457, and of course that'll be a doubling your money as well. Definitely worth thinking about. Back to the episode. So as usual, I'm going to finish up this episode by taking a quick look at the Bitcoin news. More accurately, the Bitcoin headlines. I'm no longer clicking into articles and reading out chunks because number one, I want to keep these videos short. And number two, I want to save you time. I want to give you as much possible interesting Bitcoin news and information. And I want to save you time because I understand your time is precious and you've gone through the effort of clicking on this video and subscribing. So look, just get straight to it. So as usual, you have a bunch of articles commenting on the price move. Nothing more than that. So you have like yesterday, Bitcoin jumps 10% on the 1st of October. The media have called it Shocktober. More accurately, it's probably due to something that is mentioned in this article here by news.com. They explain how the chairman of the US Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell. So he's the person in charge of digitally printing, millions and millions of US dollars, stimulus checks, things like that, giving rise to hyperinflation. He has come out and said that the US have no intention of following in China's footsteps regarding Bitcoin, as in China have recently banned all Bitcoin related activity, mining, trading, using it as a currency, buying, selling, all that gone. So they have categorically said, this Jerome Powell has said, US have no intention of following in the footsteps. Didn't rule out regulation in the future, but not as extreme as China. So then there's a massive price dump. He said this there was a massive price increase. He said this yesterday, and that's what happened. So that more or less explains that. This article, as the headline suggests, basically saying that the sentiment is good. Bitcoiners are no longer fearful. A Bitcoin analyst, Van de Pop, not sure how to pronounce it, has said $45,000 might be the new floor, and that these periods of fear and uncertainty and doubt that we have experienced for the last few months over the summer, when the price crashed down to 29,000 and since recovered, these periods usually precede massive price gains. So we could be looking at massive price gains in the future or higher highs. This is my favorite article. This is the most interesting one. So El Salvador, their president Nayib Bukele has recently come out and basically declared Bitcoin legal currency in El Salvador, and even given people in El Salvador some Bitcoin. So now you can, vendors are able to kind of accept US dollars or Bitcoin or whatever. So that's not the interesting part, though. The interesting part is that they have started mining using geothermal energy from a volcano. So what a lot of people don't know is, Bitcoin, fine, it uses a lot of energy. But a lot of people don't know is that the majority of Bitcoin mining is done through renewable sources of energy. And this is just another example of a country trying to do Bitcoin right. This article here just shows a map. It shows the best states in America to mine Bitcoin. The ones that are shaded in grey are the ones with the cheapest electricity. As I mentioned already, Bitcoin does consume a lot of electricity. So that's one of the overheads miners have. So therefore, there's a bigger margin, a profit margin. So these states, for example, like Texas, good place to mine Bitcoin. And finishing off with the most bullish article here, in an interview with CNN, Mike Novogratz, a kind of notorious Bitcoin bull who's had many predictions before, some of which have come true, has gone on to say that in the next 10 years, he thinks one Bitcoin could be worth $500,000, and we're going to leave it right there. Okay, folks, that's the end of this episode. So if you've got any sort of value or learn anything new, go ahead and like and subscribe, because like I mentioned at the start of this episode, we're on 325 subscribers and we're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. So if you are a current subscriber, thank you very much. And as usual, Sláinte. Bye.